Trying to get it up here, folks. Just bear with me. iRacing's being slow tonight. Why is it not coming up? Alright, there we go. Alright, so there's that. There's that. Unofficial results here for heat number 1. Sorry, we caught it late. We are trying to get things to run properly here. Heat number 1 results, if we got them here, this should be how they stack up. We got Joseph Grande out there getting the win. Terry Landis there second. Mason Hine there in third. Blake Chapman there in fourth. Bob DeGood there in fifth. Then we got Jeff Barker there in sixth. Alright, here we go. In the heat number 2. Heat number 2 here for the limited late model. It's going to be Pat Boyce leading them off with Andy Patton there second. Randy Shreves there third. Sam Bachman fourth. And Armando Magosa there in fifth. Clay Thompson in sixth. Alright, I want to thank everybody coming out to watch here at Coast to Coast. And over at From TV, if you're watching over there. I appreciate everybody that came together last week to try to help me get the PC up and running. So I appreciate all the anonymous help that I got for getting the RAM back into this thing, getting us back up and running. So we can bring you the hometown heroes here from A&J Custom Creations. These are your limited late models. Down here through the corner. Racing here at Lincoln. Andy Patton out there in front. Randy Shreves, Clay Christopherson battling it out back there for third and fourth. Down the back stretch here, 5 laps to go. The 00, or the 007 there, Sam Bachman had to check up there. Coming there out of turn number 4. Andy Patton out there in front. Pat Boyce there second. Baker Thompson third. Now you watch him roll down here. Uh-oh. Up there on the high side. That is the 87 of Andy Patton getting into that outside wall. That's going to allow Clay Christopherson to get up there and move up there into second. That's how Andy Patton's there in third. He's got Andy Shreves working down there on the bottom side now. They work down here in the corner, number 1 and 2. Here for the A&J Custom Creations limited late models. And Clay Christopherson there in second, trying out to get up there for a battle for the lead, which he is doing here, coming down here in the corner number 1. Underneath Pat Boyce as they work there off the corner. Down here in the 3 and 4, he's got a run, he's got a line. Gets it up there on the nose of Boyd, uh-oh! Boyd ends up turning around and will end up there in 6th. Now, he ended up getting there. Oh, I guess spit at Randy Shreves there in 6th. Alright, here we go. Here for your heat number 2 results. Gonna be Clint Christopherson there in the front. Eddie Patton there 2nd. Sam Buckman there 3rd. Armando Magosa there in 4th. Pat Boyce 5th. Randy Shreves there in 6th. Alright, getting set for warm-ups. We'll be back here after this short message.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they've done for me. This last Sunday I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Alright, here we go. Getting ready for the start of the main event here. Your grid will be as follows here to start us off. Joseph Grandy out there in the front, leading them off. Clay Christopherson there in second. Terry Landis there third. We got Andy Patton fourth. Mason Hine there in fifth. Sam Bachman sixth. Blake Chapman, he'll roll off there in seventh in car number 20 with Armando there in 8th position, driving car number 78, Bob DeGood. There in 7th car, car number 7 in 9th, so he'll be his start position. That boys there in 10th, Jeff Barker in 11, Randy Shreves, they're in 12. 12 drivers making the grid, and it looks like Verstappen's going to end up with a EOL. Getting set back to the back. Get ready here, looking great. 25 laps the distance here for the limited lates. Down there off the bottom. There you go, into corner number 1. A little touch to the inside wall. I mean, got one going around. Try to see who that might have been. That is the 161 there, Terry Landis, getting shoveled back. And work down through the front stretch now. Sam Bachman out front. Here comes Joseph Grandy down there on the bottom. Yeah, and Andy Patton there on the top side of that car number 87. Blake Chapman down there on the bottom of there. Work down there through the front stretch here at Lincoln. Sam Bachman out there in front. Grandy second. Patton there third. Chapman there fourth. Chris Tubman, he's trying to work his way up there through the field. He's up there in the 9th right now. Yeah, Bachman leading the way down there through off the corner. Now we're watching the 41 there. Pat Boyce and Randy Shreves there in the 56. Mason Hine there in the 5th. Hey, watch that 28 there, or car number 20, sorry. Working down there below the 87. Andy Patton. Bachman doing a great job out front right now. Here comes that 20 though down there on the bottom side. And we're up there off the corner, 20 laps to go here in your main event for the limited late models. Down through the backstretch, Blake Chapman there for it, Mason Hine there in 5th. Pat Boyce in 6th, Randy Shreves in 7th. Armando Malgosa there in 8th. Craig Verstappen back there in 9th. He tries to get there to working on the bottom side, going underneath there, Armando. And work down through the backstretch. He'll get there. Get the line down there on the bottom side. Can't quite get it to happen as of yet. We'll get it coming there off the corner. And he works down in the corner number 1 and 2 once again. There you see the 56, Randy Shreves underneath Pat Boyce. He worked down there in the corner number 3 and 4. Randy, though, he's getting up here to battle Bachman up there for the lead. And he battles it out, coming there off of turn number 2 down that back straightaway. Bachman up there hugging that outside lane. Grandy there in the middle of the racetrack. Think he might be trying to hang on there. He rolls higher off of 2. 16 laps to go here for your limited late model here tonight. Sam Bachman out there in front. Andy Patton here in 3rd. Blake Chapman, he's there in 4th. Now you watch that battle there with Sam Bachman, Pat Boyce, so he's back here. He's got a battle of his own with Randy Shreves. It's Randy Shreves down there on the bottom side. 20 now, Blake Chapman. He's still working on the 87 of Patton. So we got a few battles going on the racetrack. Hey, Shreves there trying to battle with Boyce. Randy still working it out there though, trying to get underneath Bachman. Gets underneath him in the corner, but Bachman just has a little bit better run off of the corners. That's what Randy is trying to get a grip there in the middle. He can get a good line there, just unfortunately can't get the drive off the corner that he's looking for. He is mainly there, just unfortunate. He's really waiting for Bachman to make a mistake. Now we see Patton and Boyce, or I'm sorry, Patton and Chapman here, working in 3rd and 4th. Verstappen back here in 6th. Caution is out. Jeff Barker, Randy Shreves around. Caution number 1. They're watching there, Barker. And, the 56 come down and they get together. End up catching, looks like the 41 possibly there as well, Pat Boyce. Randy Shreve brings out the caution. Take another look at it here. They work there through the corner. Yeah, see, Randy Shreve, I'm not sure exactly what happened. He cut it down off of the wall, brought it down and just into the side there of the 513. Ends up there towards the top. 513 ends up there towards the top as the 41 is down there on the bottom. Green flag back in the air. They work there off the corner. They're watching that 89 back there at the back. Randy Shreve there as well. Almost going 3 wide here. Coming off the corner. It looks like Christopherson gets squeezed. Ends up keeping a hold of it there. He's now down there to the bottom side. He's had to work his way all the way up through the field here tonight. Second caution underway. This time for Terry Landis back here in the 161. They come off the corner. You'll see the 161 there. Yeah, he just ends up getting up there into the outside wall. And couldn't quite bring it together. Ends up stopped up there. Single file restart most likely. We'll see what goes on here. Corner number 4, green flag, back out, has his single file restart. Sam Bachman up there on the outside. Here comes Granny down there on the inside. Down that back straightaway, Blake Chapman there in 3rd. Now you watch him roll off the corner, down through the front straightaway here in the corner number 1 and 2. Bachman up there. Okay, here comes Christopherson. Working there on the bottom side of Chapman. He's really made that bottom come to him, I believe, there for Christopherson. Grandy trying to figure out that same line. Now you watch him work there through turn number 4. 5 laps to go as they come across the line down here in the corner number 1. Bachman up top, Granny there on the bottom. Christopherson trying to go and get his way up there into the podium position if he can. 4 laps to go for your limited late model here from the A&J Country Creations Hometown Heroes. Alright, we're going down here off up corner number 4. 3 laps to go. Laps winding down here. Granny and Verstappen trying to make that bottom work. Chapman and Bachman up there on the top side. Now Granny just trying to make sure he holds on there. Doesn't really give the momentum there to Chapman. He got a good run there off up corner number 2. Just, I don't know if it's enough there. He worked there off of 4. Final lap. Here comes Granny down there on the bottom side. Racing hard down the back straightaway. Underneath them here through turn 3 and 4. Who's going to be able to get the drive off? Looks like it's going to be Bachman getting it off the top side. Granny giving one hell of a run down there on the bottom side. Chapman there in 3rd. Alright, here we go. Trying to get in here to see where everybody is. Just waiting on them to show up here. Well, we get our finish results here for your main event of the limited late bottles. It's gonna be here the Full Throttle Motorsports. Sam Bachman getting the win. Joseph Grandy there second. Blake Chapman there in 3rd. Clay Verstappen there 4th. Randy Shreves there in 5th. Mason Hine there in 6th. Eddie Patton there 7th. Armando Malgosa there in 8th. Terry Landis in 9th. Bobby Good there in 10th. Pat Boyce rolls off tonight, finishing 11th. And Jeff Barger finishes tonight in 12th, a lap down. Congrats there to those drivers. So if we get anybody coming here to the waiting room, Blake Chapman is your 3rd place finisher. I'm not seeing anybody coming up in here. Blake Chapman gets third. Joe Brandy getting second here tonight. In your limited late, Sam Bachman there in first. Drivers put on a show here tonight. Great job. Not seeing anybody as of yet. So I think we're going to go ahead and get moving here on to the... nobody's coming to join up here in the... Can't find anybody here, really. Eyes aren't cooperating tonight, so... Driver, if you're wanting interviews, help me out. Come to the waiting room. Alright, well, we'll go ahead and get moving here on to our limited late, or getting moved on to our 360 sprints. We'll be back here in a few moments, so don't go anywhere.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get...
Tonight we'll be talking about it.
these dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and it got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. A Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they've done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Alright, here we are, practice going on for the 360 sprint machines here at Lincoln. We got them coming out there. You can see there's Terry Landis out there, 3rd fastest right now with a 13.512. You got Joseph Grandy out there in front with a 13.078. Landis now upside down, it looks like. And watch there, Granny coming down through the back straightaway. They're in front of him trying to make out the number on that machine. I want to say it might be a 20 of Blake Chapman. That it is. That's Chapman out there in the number 20. There you see the 89. Mason Hine. Bob the Good back here in the car number 7, Buffalo Wild Wing. There, number 41, Pat Boyd. There's Randy Shreves. They're in the car 56. Hot Wheels machine down there through corner number 1 and 2. Now, we got just a few moments here before we switch into qualifying for the 360 wing sprints. Thank you there, whoever come in to Fleeger Farm TV to watch on the pole here tonight. Hey, what work here off the corner, down through the back, straight away they go. Trying to keep the excitement up. Hey, the 710 there, Gavin Shaw's out there on track, getting a few laps in. Landis there, working, trying. Oh, we got one up and over. That's the 5 there, I believe. Or 518 rather, Joseph Grandi. Yeah, it was the 518, Joe Grandi, Andy Patton out here in the 87. Ted York in the number 9. So far, 11 drivers signed up. Thank you all for coming in, watching here as we're getting set to rock and roll with the Coast to Coast Racing League. You're watching here on both Coast to Coast Racing Network and over at Fleeger Farm TV. Now you're watching on the pole over there. This is your A&J Custom Creations Hometown Heroes. And later on, we have the Regal Rap Midgets. And 09 there, Ted York, driving that SSR Narc machine. Currently sitting 7th fastest in the group. Working there in through practice. Bob's good. They're in 10th. Mason 9 and 8. Pat Boyce in 11th right now. He's 11th fastest out there. Joseph Granny putting down some great heaters here tonight. Up there along the top side. Terry Landis back there in through corner number 3 and 4. Blake Chapman there and 5th fastest, and Landis goes up and over there at the entrance to the racetrack. And down there into the bottom. Bad boys, Mason Hine out there on track. That Barger doing what he can there. That's why you see the name coming up there at the bottom of your screen. He's talking over with the drivers, and unfortunately we don't have the privilege to hear those conversations. But a great job there by the admins of the league, keeping everything underway and rolling. Checkered flag is out. Here for practice, we're going to be getting ready to go now as qualifying is about to begin. So here comes qualifying. We got 11 drivers. That'll mean 2 heats, 1 heat with 5, 1 heat with 6. Here you watch him coming there through the corner. Curly looking there at Andy Patton. He worked down there through the back straightaway down there through turn 3 and 4. Back out here across. I'm sorry, I was flipped around. Now he's working here through 3 and 4. Coming here across the stripe. Lays down a time. And Patton's going to be currently in 4th with a 14.025. We see who has left to go. Looks like Blake Chapman out there on track, currently fit and qualified. He rolled down here in through turn 3 and 4, back out here onto the front straightaway. I don't know if he'll improve on that or not. He will. He'll jump up to 3rd out of clearance, Iowa. That's everybody qualified. With Joseph Grandy putting down the heater of a 13.54. Alright, here we go. Who's ready for more racing here at Coast to Coast Racing Network and on the pole? Alright, here's your heat number 1. Here we go. Pat Boy starting out there on pole. Eddie Patton there 2nd. Blake Chapman there 3rd. Joseph Grandy, even though he qualified there in 1st, he will start 4th as they invert the top 4. Gavin Shaw there 5th. Bob the Good there in 6th. That is your heat number 1 as they get started here. At front row, Andy Pat and Pat Boyce. I remember correctly, Pat Boyce was one of the slower ones in practice. We'll see if we got things worked out here as they start heat number 1 here. 6 laps the distance. One more time around. All through 3 and 4, green flag in the air, here they go. Oh, and already contact there between Boyce and Patton as Patton gets up there to the outside. Ends up falling back there. Chapman, what a run there by him. Grandy now, he's got to try to find a way to get up there as he worked there underneath Patton. He does so. Grandy now up there in the 3rd. Look out, though. Chapman, what a run he's having so far. He has got that car ripping around here, Lincoln. Down the front straightaway here in the corner, number 1 and 2. Looking underneath of Boyce right now as they work down that back straightaway. 4 laps to go here in heat number 1. Here through 3 and 4. Pat Boyce out front. Now Blake Chapman now out front there as he passes Boyce down there on the inside. Boyce though trying to get up there and keep a hold of things. Can't quite do it as he works there off the corner. Chapman down there on the inside, getting that inside lane to really work for him. Back here towards a little bit farther back. Andy Patton fell back. Grandy there in the 3rd as he's trying to roll his way up there towards the front. Pat Boyce looks like he might be struggling a little bit with car control here at Lincoln tonight with that 360. Final lap here. Will Grandy get that 2nd spot? Chapman out front. Boyce up there at the top side. And yes, Grandy will get that 2nd spot. Over top of Boyce. Boyce up into the fence there in turn 1 there at the end of heat number 1. Alright, here's your heat 1 results. Blake Chapman getting the win. Joseph Grandy there 2nd. Pat Boyce there 3rd. Andy Patton there in 4th. Bob the Good there in 5th. Gavin Shaw in 6th. Alright, here is heat number 2. Your starting grid. for the 360 Wing Sprint Cars, brought to you by A&J Custom Creations, Hometown Heroes. Jet Barger out there on pole. Terry Landis there second. Ted York there in a third. Randy Shreves there fourth. Mason Hine there in fifth. Now we see getting rolling out here. Great job so far. Come on now. Give me what I need. There we go. Now you're working. Once again, 6 laps the distance. Jet Barger out there on point. Terry Landis there in second. Got the 09 there. Ted York there in a third. Randy Shreves in a fourth. And got Mason Hine there in a fifth. Here off the corner, down through the front straightaway, Jet Barger out there getting off to a decent start. Up there to the outside wall goes Landis. Landis hanging on to it as he worked down through into corner number 3 and 4. Landis, we know, does a pretty good job pairing here. Up there towards the top side right now, though. Barger still hangs on to it as you're looking there at Randy Shreves there in third. Trying to get up there towards them. That's gonna be Ted York down there on the bottom side. York has tried to check up a little bit. Ends up back out of it. And Landis having issues back here on the back stretch. He's falling back there in the fifth. That'll help York out as he gets up there in the third now. Right there behind the 56 Randy Shreves. And Randy Shreves picks up second. Jet Barger out there in front. I just don't know if anybody's going to have anything for him. They worked there off of 4. 2 laps to go here at Lincoln for your 360 Wing Sprint Cars. They work down through the back straightaway. And off corner number 4, your A&J Custom Creations Hometown Heroes 360 Wing Sprint Cars here tonight. Everybody worked down through, looking great as Randy Shreves there in second. Off the corner, it's going to be Jet Barger for the win. Coming there across the line, Jet Barger gets the win here at Lincoln for heat number 2. Heat number 2 results are going to be Jet Barger, Randy Shreves, Ted York, Mason Hine, Terry Landis. That is your finishing order there for your grid. We'll be back after this short message.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. we can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and it got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they've done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Alright, back here at the track, here we go. Your starting grid here for your main event is going to look like this. Blake Chapman out there getting pulled here. Jet Barger there in second, Joe Grandy there in third, Randy Shreves there in fourth, Pat Boyce there fifth, Ted York rolls off sixth tonight. Andy Patton there seventh, Mason Hine there in eighth, Bob DeGood there in ninth, Terry Landis back here in 10th, Gavin Shaw in 11th. That is how they'll roll off here for your main event. And here we go, back here through the field, 25 laps of distance for your 360 wing sprint cars. And we're getting set and ready to rock and roll once again. All right, down here. Through off the corner in the 2. There is the Ted York up there on the outside. Caution's already out there for Terry Landis in that 161. Take a look at what happened here. They can barely get through turn 1 and 2. And we have already got our first caution here tonight. Barry Watson coming here off the corner. Man, it looks like the 7 just ends up getting up the racetrack, pushes through the corner, and gets into Landis there, coming there off of turn 1 and 2. Doesn't look too terrible, though. So they both should be able to continue without much problem. Landis trying to get that wheel fixed on that machine. Does so. Gets it back out here on track. I know Landis did have a black flag here currently, but that was for speeding on pit road. They will clear that. They get underway here, down here in the corner number 1 again. Barger up there to the outside of that 513. He's going to try to get up there to Chapman. Caution back out there as Andy Patton now gets in the Terry Landis. Off the corner they go. They're watching Andy Patton there on the bottom side. And sliding up. Get sideways there and try to see. Okay, Landis just brought it to a stop. But others did get as they were trying to check up, ended up catching themselves there in problems. Lined up side by side there down the backstretch. There's Abe Barger getting off. I'm sorry, Chapman getting off to a great start there. Barger, though, also there up there on the high side. Grandy there in the 518, working there in the middle. Off corner number 4. We finally get a lap in. Under green, that is. They roll down through the back straight away. You got 56, Randy Shreves there. And they work there off the corner. Side by side. Shreves down there on the bottom side. Caution back out. Pat Boyce and Landis once again. As he Landis there in the 161 up there towards the top. Now you see Pat Boyce there. Oh, that's just a colossal mess there. Not sure who exactly else got clobbered in that. Might have been we caught Andy Patton involved. And you see Pat Boyce, yeah, Andy Patton there in the 87. Goes for a tumble. Pat Boyce up there. Gotta try to work it back through. There for the Salty Dogs. There we watch them all roll out here. Terry Landis. Back in there you see Blake Chapman still your leader. Randy Shreves there second. Joseph Grandy there in third. Jack Barger there in fourth. Down through the front stretch. Got the 513 of Barger there in fourth. Third caution of the night here in the 360 wing sprint cars. All right, here we go. Down here, off corner number 4, through the front straightaway. Looking at Barker there as they roll on down out of here. You got that 518, Grandy up there on the top side. He trying to bring it on through. Driver's trying to work down there on the bottom side. Looked like Landis was tied up once again with somebody back here towards the back. Up there towards the top. Gavin Shaw in the 710. Pat Boyce down there on pit road. Boyce is in the pits. Patton is out. Randy Shreves down there on the bottom side, working underneath the Chapman. No, I'm sorry, no, underneath the 518 there of Randy. Anyway, come on there. We're watching on the pool here at FFTV and Coast to Coast Racing Network. Down there off the corner, 15 laps to go here in your feature event of the 360 Wing Sprint Car. And then we move on to the Regal Wraps Midgets. You're watching here these limited late models you saw previously. And the 360 Wing Sprint Cars are brought to you by A&J Custom Creations. Down here through the front straightaway they go. In the corner, number 1 and 2, down that back straightaway. Blake Chapman out there in the front. Joseph Randy there second. Randy Shreves there third with Jeff Barker fourth. Rolling on out here. Great job so far here tonight. They battled on out here. Jeff Barker fourth. Ted York there fifth. Mason Hine there in sixth. 11 laps to go as Chapman has the command over top of the race. Gavin Shaw going a lap down there on the bottom side. Pat Boyce and Pat both out. So unfortunately there, Joseph Canellis, you're cheering on to number 41. Unfortunately that is not going to happen here in the 360 sprints here tonight. Now you watch Jeff Barker there in fourth. Ted York there in fifth. Mason Hine there in sixth. Bobby Good there in seventh. Terry Landis in eighth. Gavin Shaw there in ninth. Now you watch him come on out of there. Ted York there in sixth. Terry Landis there in eighth. Blake Chapman there in first. Joseph Randy there second. Randy Shreves there third. Jeff Barker there fourth. Mason Hine there in fifth. Ted York there sixth. Bobby Good there in seventh. Terry Landis there in eighth. 5 to go here for your A&J Custom Creations. Hometown Heroes working down there off up corner number 4. We got Blake Chapman coming across the line down here in the corner number 1 once again. He has that command of the lead there as Shreves tries to chase down Granny. Can't quite get there. Barker there in fourth. Mason Hine there fifth. Ted York there sixth. Bobby Good there in seventh. Terry Landis there in eighth. They rocket on out here. Some of you may know we're getting to the end of the season here. I guess I should have called out them point standings. We are running here, 2 laps to go. We got Terry Landis having the command of the lead there in the 360s. Gavin Shaw in second. Randy Shreves there third, and Dean Reynolds fourth. Pat Boyce there in fifth. That is your top 5 in the points right now. But Terry Landis, your driver out front, as you see, coming across the line. It was Blake Chapman getting the win here at Lincoln in the 360 Sprint Machines. Here comes your official results for your 360s. That is going to be Blake Chapman getting the win. Joseph Randy there second. Randy Shreves there in third. Jeff Barker fourth. Mason Hine there fifth. Ted York there sixth. Bob the Good there in 7th, Terry Landis there 8th, Gavin Shaw in 9th, Pet Boys in 10th, Andy Patton in 11th. That is your finishing order here tonight. All right, we got Randy Shreves with us. Good evening there, Randy. How's it going?
Hey, good, Adam. How are you?
Doing fairly well. I'm glad everything's working so far for me, but I see iRacing still having issues with their graphics settings a little bit. Yes.
Yeah, there's always something with these things.
What's that?
There's always something wrong with it.
I mean, I could start out tonight at 100 and something frames per second, and by the time I'm done, I'm clear down to 30.
Yeah, I don't know what iRacing's got going on.
All I know is it's not the system. So you did a great job out there getting that 56 Hot Wheel machine up there in the third. Kind of take us through, how do you think your night went here in the 360 sprints?
Overall, not too bad. I mean, finishing on the podiums, it's always a good night. But, having them couple guys in front of me that are always fast, Joseph and Blake, they're always fast. And, I just didn't have enough, I guess, tonight. I don't know, I messed up. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time a couple times. Couldn't get the track position that I wanted, and just had to settle for third.
Well, I mean, other than the track position, how did the track feel to the car? I mean, did you feel like your car was pretty well set up good, or?
Yeah, it felt pretty good out there. It felt like I can, take it on the top and the bottom. Just, some spots it's faster than others, and you just want to avoid all the slick spots, and sometimes you have to hit them, and you kind of got to finesse it through there and slow down just a little bit. But, just had to be patient and get through that race.
Well, you did a great job getting through the race. And like I said, I did a great job. And, I don't remember, did you run in the limited lengths here tonight?
Yeah, I did.
No, where did you finish in those?
I think I got top 5. I got 5th.
Okay.
So, not horrible in those. I'm leading the points in those, so I'm just trying to be careful and not lose that championship there.
Well, I mean, you definitely can show that you can drive on dirt. It's just, and I've noticed some tracks, and even on the asphalt side, are some drivers, but I've seen it everywhere pretty much in racing, that some tracks just come to drivers a little better than others.
Yeah, and that's true. Lincoln, it's not one of my best tracks, but it's not my worst track. But yeah, definitely knowing how to run the tracks definitely helps.
Yeah, like I know one of my better tracks is USA, and I had a guy go to me because I don't know how you can hug that bottom like you do and get around there that quick, because I can't figure that bottom side out. Well, and I can't figure the top side out, so. That's a true.
Tips and tricks everywhere.
There is, and the other thing is you just never know how it's going to lay out either, especially in dirt track racing. That track changes every race.
Yeah, it definitely does, and it changes quick sometimes. This one didn't change that fast, but it was still a good track though. It wasn't as slick as I like. I normally like it a little slicker, but it'll do.
Well, congrats. You got any sponsor shout-outs? Anybody you want to thank for getting third here tonight in the 360s?
Oh yeah, for sure. As always, Coast to Coast for everything they do. A&J Custom Creations, Andy over there, he's awesome, man. And want to thank my son Dylan Shreves for painting my car, my buddy Mike McCoy for watching, my boss Jeff Spann and his family for watching. Everybody else. I think that's it.
All right, well, congrats, Randy.
And for the broadcast, sir.
you
can't forget that.
You coming out and trying your hand in the midgets?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give them a shot.
All righty, well, we'll see you in the midgets here in a little while.
Yes, sir.
All right, Randy Shreves, our third place for today. Now we'll get with Joseph Grindy. Good evening there, Joseph. How's tonight going?
Hey, what's going on, Adam?
Well, you got second here in the 360s. And I know we didn't get anybody for interviews here in the limited lates. Where did you finish in the limited lates?
Second.
So you got 2 seconds here tonight so far.
Yep.
Well, do you think that Lincoln pretty much been good to you here tonight?
I like Lincoln in general. It's usually somewhat of a challenge, and I like any track where that's in the racer's hand.
I mean, you did a great job in both the limited lates and the 360s here tonight, getting up there to the podium. I mean, it's not easy here coast to coast to get consecutive podiums, let alone consistently.
Yeah, my headset fell off halfway through the 360 race. I don't think I would have had anything for Blake regardless, but it definitely slowed me up a little bit. But I'll take a second any day.
Like I said, you did a great job. You got any sponsor shout-outs? Anybody you want to thank for getting second here in the 360s and the limited late models tonight so far?
Absolutely. Raise the Bar, RMDB, Catalytic Recovery, Highlight Cinematography, Mad Rabbit, Hinkle Home, Shaggy TV, my girlfriend Olivia, all the guys at Coast to Coast, and thank you, man, for doing the broadcast tonight.
Alrighty, well, my pleasure. I'm glad to be up and running. So I thank the anonymous people that help support us and get me back running so I can be here.
Absolutely, glad to have you back.
All right, well, you coming out for the midgets at all, or are you done now?
I am done. No midgets for me.
Alrighty. Well, congrats again, Joseph, and we'll see you next week, maybe?
Will do. See you, man.
Alrighty. That was second place. That will give it Blake Chapman. Good evening there, Blake. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Adam?
I'm doing well. Now, do I remember correctly, did you struggle in the limited lates, or did you get a podium there as well?
I was third, and no, I struggled. I felt like I struggled a little bit. I didn't run them in so long, but I ended up third. It was, I was happy with that.
So you did get third. So you went from third in the limited lates to bringing the podium victory lane here with the 360 sprints.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was hoping to do. Just coming back for this 1 week, I didn't want to get in anyone's road. Didn't want to cost anybody a points championship or anything. So was driving a little more conservative, but once I got on the pole for this race, it was all gas, no brakes for sure. Just trying to put this thing out front and stay away from everybody.
You did a great job out there in getting it done. And now you said you come back this week. Are you here for the winter season then?
No, I'll just be back this week for Thanksgiving break, and then I got a couple more weeks of school, and then I'll be back for Christmas break. So you see me a couple weeks during December, January, hopefully.
Okay. Well, you did a great job. You're showing you haven't got too much rust in them racing hands.
Yeah, no, I was a little worried about that. They definitely changed the setups on these big setups since the last time I ran it, so it took me a while to get used to it. Really struggled in the warm-up when it was tacky, but once it slicked off, it actually felt really good. Oh, I can move around a bit. So, yeah, just excited to get back in the car and be racing again.
Alrighty, well, congrats. And you got any sponsor shots? Anybody you want to thank for getting the podiums here tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank the family for watching. I got to thank all the guys on at KSR, especially Terry for running with me tonight. Got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They have some very delicious popcorn. You can check it out for yourself if you go over to their website. And do not forget to use code CART at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. I got to thank everyone involved in putting this league on, and I got to thank you for the broadcast.
Our pleasure, and thank you for coming out and racing. I know everybody thanks the all the drivers thank the broadcast for putting it on, but broadcasters, they got to thank the drivers for being there to race.
That's right, Bill. We appreciate you doing it.
Alrighty, well, congrats again. And are you gonna try a hand at midgets tonight, or are you done tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Try and have a little fun in the midgets.
Alrighty, well, we'll see you there in just a few moments.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, Blake Chapman, your winner here tonight. Bringing home that victory lane here at Lincoln Speedway. Now, we'll be back here in just a few moments as we get set here for the Regal Wraps and Designs Midget Series during the A&J Custom Creations Hometown Heroes.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Tonight we talked about it.
Outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life and it's the lives of racers everywhere is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Alright, here we are back with our broadcast. This time we're here from trying to figure out the track here. Yes, we could go and bring our race info up. That might give us a word of where we're at. We're here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Speedway here at the Coast to Coast Racing League. Here with the A&J Custom Creations Hometown Heroes. These are the real rap midgets. You see them here trying to put in their best times. Checkered flag waves. We got 7 drivers here tonight. Getting set and ready to rock and roll here with the midgets. There's some drivers out there, they're afraid of these little cars, but I must say, for me personally, depending on the track, which is most anywhere, I really enjoy these things. I might not be the best at handling them, but yeah, they are definitely lots of fun. Hey, watch them down here. Terry Lynn is out of Desert Hot Springs. He rolls there, coming up. There you see Steve Moore there, starting 5th here in the lineup so far in Triple Eight. Coming there off turn number 4 is Landis. He's going to put in a time. Currently there in 2nd. And he rolls down there out of corner number 1 and 2. There's Moore. Currently there 4th. He brings it across the line. We'll see if he improves on that. Bob DeGood, sorry, is there in 4th. Landis 2nd right now, and we've got Chapman out there. There you see Randy Shreves working out there. Coming across, currently there in 3rd. Out of Springfield, Illinois with a 14.67, Chapman lays down a 14.614, comes across the line with a 14.623 for his second lap. His first lap is going to be the one that counts with a 14.614, bringing him into 2nd. Terry Landis falls back there in the 3rd. All right, here we go. Getting underway here with your heat number 1. In just a moment. Give it a moment here. We'll bring it up and get started. Randy Shreves out there in the front. Terry Landis starting there 2nd. Blake Chapman there 3rd. Jay Hitt there 4th. Steve Marr there 5th. Bob DeGood there in 6th. And Jeff Barker rolls off in 7th tonight. That is your starting grid for the heat race of the midgets. And get set to rock and roll. Who's ready for some midget racing action here at On the Pole? Being brought to you by Coast to Coast Racing Network and Flicker Farm TV. Tonight episode of On the Pole. Currently we are at Kevin Harvick Kern Speedway, bringing you the midgets. Out here, off corner number 4. Here they go. Green flag in the air. Terry Landis up here on the top side. Randy Shreves down there on the bottom side. Look out. Here comes Jack Hitt in that 217. Up there on the top side now. Right there behind Landis. As they work on down there. Out of the corner. Landis there out front. Your point standings, though, for these guys. We got Jack Hitt as your leader. Brandon Templeton there in second. Terry Landis in third. Randy Shreves fourth. And Stephen Bixler as they're in third. They're in fifth, sorry. So Landis third. Jack Hitt leads the points here in the midgets. He's come down here out of the corner. Gonna go back here to the lead now. As Jack Hitt puts down a great lap. There you see Landis trying to hang on there. 3 laps to go here in the heat race. Landis goes around, takes out Shreves with him. Everybody tries to sneak it by through there. That's going to bring Chapman up there in the second. Now you got Jack Hitt there out front. 2 laps to go. Now final lap here for the Regal Wrap Midgets. And they work there off turn number 1 and 2 down that back straightaway. Great job here tonight for Jack Hitt, bringing up there, coming off of 4. Going to get the win here in the heat race. Waiting on everybody to come across the line. And our results could be Jack Hitt, Blake Chapman, Bob DeGood, Jet Barker, Stephen Marr, Terry Landis, and Randy Shreves here for your heat results. All right, we'll be back here after a very brief message.
Precision is our language. Creativity is our weapon. And perfection is the only option. Your ride, your brand, your image, elevated to a level that can't be ignored. This isn't just a wrap, it's a revolution. Regal Wraps and Designs, where power meets style, and style becomes unforgettable. At Regal Wraps and Designs, we don't follow trends, we set them. Every line, every finish, every detail is built to dominate. From flawless vehicle wraps to bold custom designs, we take your vision and redefine it. Seamless statements, artful accents, hues of harmony. We are Regal Wraps and Designs.
All right, back here at the track. Still have a little bit of time left in warm-ups. Minute 30 to be exact. All right, getting ready here for the main event. Not sure what happened here. Looks like SDK giving me a small hiccup. It's all right, we'll get it fixed here. There we go. Jack hit, starts on pole. Blake Chapman there second. Bob the Good there in third. Jeff Barker fourth. Steve Marr there in fifth. Terry Landis there sixth. Randy Shreves rolls off in seventh tonight. Here for the Regal Wraps and Designs Midgets. Jack hit and Blake Chapman out there on the front row. A couple of fast drivers. Tell you what, we'll roll down here out of the start-finish line in the corner number one. Up there on the outside is Jack Hit. I'm sorry, no, that's Blake Chapman. Jack Hit down there on the bottom side. Falling back to the back at the moment, and everybody else is running out the high side. Trying to keep it going there. Jack Hit gonna slide it there, gonna slide it up. And around he goes, spinning like a top. Down there on the bottom side, no caution. Blake Chapman's out there in the front. Jeff Barker there second. Bob the Good there in third. Randy Shreves back there in fourth. Jack Hit now trying to gain his way back up there through the field. There you see Landis back there in sixth. Steve Marr is out. Side by side there for third and fourth between Bob the Good and Randy Shreves. Down through the backstretch in the corner number 3 and 4. There you watch. Shreves down there getting around. Shreves going to take a third spot away from Bob the Good. You got to really watch your power input. If you let them back wheels grip just a little too much, it will pop that front end up. There's like nothing out there. All your weight's in that fuel tank there at the back. Hey, Jeff Barker there in a second. Blake Chapman out there in the front. Randy Shreves there third. Bob the Good there in fourth. Jack Hit there fifth. Terry Landis there in sixth with Steve Bittenmauer there as marked out. Now here off of turn number 4 up there on the top side. Look out, here comes Randy Shreves now up there in the second spot, getting around Jeff Barker. Jeff Barker ball back there in the third. Blake Chapman doing a great job up there in the lead right now as he's out there in the front. And Jack Hit, he kind of struggled there at the beginning, being stuck down there on the bottom and ended up spinning around like a top, and he's trying to gain that momentum to get back up there towards the front. I don't know if there's going to be time, though, as there's just a lot of drivers here. There you see Blake Chapman back there in front. Randy Shreves there in second. Jeff Barker there in third. In that 513, Bob the Good there in the fourth. Jack Hit there in the fifth. Terry Landis there sixth. Stephen Marr, as we said, is out. Rolling down there out of the corner. And we're down there off the backstretch. Down here in the corner number 3 and 4. Down there across. Coming up off the corner. Blake Chapman there as your leader so far. There you see there in second Randy Shreves. Jeff Barker there in third. 12 laps to go. Bobby Good back here for Jack Hit back here for Ed. Jerry Landis there 6th. Stephen Moore is out. They got really spread out all around Kern here tonight. Everybody curious about how spread out they are. How about we pull up a track map, maybe? If we can. There you go. There's how spread out they are. We got 6 drivers, and you can clearly read all 6 numbers on that track map. They got Blake Chapman coming there out of turn 4. We got 56 Randy Shreves coming there through turn 4 now. Here comes Jeff Barker finally working his way off. Bob the Good back here for it. Jack Hit. He's back here in 5th. Slowly trying to gain on Bob the Good. I don't know if he is or not, though. There we go. Now we'll see. Looks like he is a little bit. Trying to hang on to it as they work down through the front stretch here in the corner number 1 and 2. 7 laps to go for your midgets here tonight. Then we're going down there. You see the 217. Jack Hit on the bottom side, getting around Bob the Good. Randy Shreves there in a second. Blake Chapman out there in front. Barker there in 3rd. Jack Hit back here 4th now. He got around Bob the Good. Now he trying to find out, does he have enough time to get up there and try to battle for 3rd? I don't know if he does or not, but you can see that front end popping up and down there on Jack Hit's machine as he works there through the corner. And you can see that front suspension definitely working on the front of that machine. Hey, way up there against that wall, coming here out of turn number 4. 3 laps to go. There for Blake Chapman. Working here out of the corner. And Terry Landis, slow. It looks like he might have issues there in 161. Blake Chapman's going to gain on him. Coming there out of turn 4. Final lap, last time around at Kern. And Jack Hit got to try to make a move if he's going to make it. Going down there to the bottom side. Blake Chapman out there coming off of turn 4. And Jack Hit, he's going to look down there. Through turn 4, can't quite get it to bite the way he needed to. He's going to settle for 4th. There behind Jeff Barker. Blake Chapman, your winner. Randy Shreves there 2nd. Jeff Barker in 3rd. Your start, or your finishing order, it's going to be Blake Chapman, Randy Shreves in 2nd, Jeff Barker 3rd, Jack Hit there 4th, Bobby Good there 5th, Terry Landis there 6th, Stephen Moore in 7th here. All right, now to get with our winners here. All right, here we go. We got with Jeff Barker. Good evening there, Jeff. How's it going?
Good. How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing well. Well, you got 3rd spot here in the midgets. Were you nervous about Jack Hit coming up there behind you there at the closing laps?
No, he needed another lap to figure out what to do to get by, so I figured I was safe for one more lap. So.
Well, I mean, you did a great job. You kept the car underneath you. I'm not sure what Jack Hitt did there earlier on in the race, there towards the beginning, whenever he decided to spin it around like a top.
Yeah, I did a little. He tried to slide her in two, and it was just a little too slick there in the center. It didn't work out.
Yeah, he thinks if you're not careful, they will pick that front end up and spin around like a top on you.
Yep, sure will. Hey, it's good to see you back, buddy.
I'm glad to be back. Everything seems to be operating for the most part, minus the iRacing graphics issues, but I guess everybody's having them right now.
Okay.
Start the session at 100-something frames per second, and then by the end of it, I'm down to like 30 to 40.
Come see me after. I may have a cure for that.
Well, from what I've been reading, I'm not the only one with this issue since the last update.
Right. But the last update coincided with the Windows update. The Windows update is conflicted with NVIDIA, etc. NVIDIA put a hotfix out like 2 days ago.
Okay, so I got to update my NVIDIA drivers in.
I'll send you a link.
All right, sounds great there, Jeff.
Okay.
But great job there, and
thanks.
You got any sponsor shout-outs? Anybody you want to thank for getting third here in the midgets? I mean, they look like they're so much fun to drive.
Oh, they are. Just Regal Wraps and Designs for sponsoring and for putting out a good broadcast. A&J Custom Creations for sponsoring the first two. And I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you guys next week or tomorrow even.
Yeah, I'll be here next week. Zach will be taking over there from Shaggy TV. He'll be doing tomorrow's Thanksgiving broadcast.
Gotcha. Okay, well, have a good Thanksgiving, brother.
So, yeah, that's what I plan on. I got it cleared for me to have a good Thanksgiving, so I'll enjoy as much as I can.
Okay.
Eat all that
Talk
turkey and end up taking a nap early, I think.
Yeah. Okay, we'll talk to you about it.
Alrighty. I'll look forward to that. Yeah, I'll look forward to that link there, Jeff, and you have yourself a great night and a great Thanksgiving yourself.
Okay, thanks, bud. Bye.
That was Jeff Barger, and I will get with Randy Shreves once again. Good evening there, Randy. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. Finished on the podium again. That's all that matters. And it was definitely a fun race, kind of wild there at the start. I'm glad I didn't get all the way taken out, but I took on some damage and did what I could with the car. It was pretty messed up after that little collision there, and thought there was going to be a caution. Otherwise, I would have made a quick pit stop and got some things fixed, and maybe gave Blake a run. But he's always fast in anything he drives, so definitely probably would have put on a better race. But yeah.
Well, I mean,
with what I had.
Looking here on the broadcast, the car don't look bad, so I don't know what damage you're really referring to.
Yeah, just I don't know, when we got in that big pile up on I don't know, it was maybe lap 1 or 2 or early on in the race, but yeah, it took on a little bit of damage. It was just a little tricky to learn how to drive the car again because it handled way different. I mean, I made it work, but yeah, it was quite a task. My arms are really tired after that one.
Well, I mean, you did a great job, and you got sponsor shots. Anybody you want to thank for getting on the podium again here in these midgets?
Yeah, for sure. As always, Coast to Coast for everything they do. You for the broadcast. A&J Custom Creations. Andy's awesome. My buddy Mike McCoy for watching. My boss Jeff Spann and his family for watching. My son Dylan Shreves for painting my car. And I think that's it.
Alrighty, well, congrats, and we'll see you next week. Then I'm going to enjoy my Thanksgiving. Hopefully you enjoy your Thanksgiving as well, if you're having something.
Yes, sir. Happy Thanksgiving.
Alrighty, have yourself a great night there, Randy, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, buddy.
Randy Shreves, our second place finisher. Now we'll get with our winner, Blake Chapman. Good evening there, Blake. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, Adam?
I'm doing well. Definitely got the rust out of them fingers now, huh?
Yeah, I didn't feel super comfortable in these things all night, but, something happened at the start there that took out Randy and Jack and Terry. They all had damage after that, so typically the 3 fastest guys in these things, so I got pretty lucky there, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good.
Yeah, Jack, I'm not sure exactly what he did, but ended up popping the front end up. And, you know, whenever you pop the front end up in these midgets, they just spin around like a dying top.
Yeah, I've done that plenty of times before. It definitely happens to the best of us.
It's easy to do, that's for sure.
Yeah, these little cars, you got to be careful with that throttle, especially on these shorter tracks. You really want to get going. The front end can get up pretty easily on these things.
Well, and especially whenever you're talking here in the feature event, you got all that fuel sitting back there in that fuel tank that's back behind your drive wheels, and yeah, it don't take much to get that weight shoved backwards.
Yeah, no, yeah, you said it. You got to be careful, especially at the start of the feature. And usually, if you're good at the start, sometimes you can just get in rhythm, like I was able to do tonight, and not worry about it too much.
That's really with any car though, is on dirt. It's just finding that rhythm and hopefully it sticks, and slowly change your lane as the track progresses through the night.
Yeah, absolutely. Fortunately, like I said, I was able to find a little bit of a rhythm here, with just running that slider line. Still had to be careful, of course, and even the 360s, you're able to find a rhythm. Limited late models too up top, so. Yeah, definitely just getting in a rhythm is the key, and it's easy to do that when you don't have any cautions, for sure, so any cautions interrupting your run there, that definitely helps too. Would have liked to see a little more cars come out, but it's always fun running with these guys.
Definitely a lot of fun to broadcast too. I mean, these things are a blast to watch. They're also a blast to drive. I mean, I'm not competitive in them by any stretch of the imagination, but I do enjoy time trials in them. They are a fun little machine.
Yeah, they're one of the more fun cars on the simulator for sure.
Well, you have yourself a great night there, Blake. A great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you whenever you're able to race again.
Yeah, appreciate it. Just got a first shout out to the parents for watching and all the guys down at KSR, especially Terry for running with me on Wednesday nights. I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps, Andy at AJ Custom Creations, different sponsors who are stepping up to broadcast this. Really appreciate that. I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. You can head over to their website. Don't forget to use code CART, that's C-A-R-T at checkout for 15% off some of the very delicious popcorn. I got to thank everyone involved in putting the league on, and I got to thank you for the broadcast, Adam, and hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Alrighty,
well, you too there, and congrats again on getting the victory here in the 360s and the midgets here tonight.
Thank you.
All right, so that was Blake Chapman getting the win here tonight at Kern. We go and send off here from Coast to Coast Racing Network. Thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a great night and a great Thanksgiving.